to Asake Online. My name is Sizwakele Ndlovu, and this is the Breakfast Club. With me on the show today is Mr. Bruce Ncube, and he is an artist, an events manager, and so much more. Bruce, welcome to Breakfast Club.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me today.
It's a pleasure. So, Bruce, let's just get straight into the talk. You are Bruce Ncube, and you're an artist and a performer. Please just give us your background, Jaco, where you grew up, and how you got into the arts up to today.
Yeah, my name is Bruce, and I was born in Juve, one of the finest townships in Bulawayo, and one of the townships that's produced so much talent over the years, I was trained under Umkati Theatre Works, one of Bulawayo, one of Zimbabwe's best, traditional groups, from the age of about 11 and up until when I was 18, and started, touring and traveling, around the UK and other places and all of that. I've been in the arts for nearly 20 years now, and the journey it's been long and tiring and stressful, but at the same time, quite enjoyable, because I'm doing what I love. I'm getting paid for doing what I enjoy and love. Yeah.
So, Bruce, I'm hearing an undertone of an accent, and you're obviously not in Zimbabwe anymore. Just tell us where you are now.
Yeah, I know. I pick up these accents because I live with white people all the time, and it's all about. I'm sorry, but yeah, I live in Oreos, which is a small village in that's near Lichfield near Birmingham, which is the biggest city that will be close by. And I've been here I've been traveling in and out of the country for about 15 years now. But I've been living in Oreos for 3 years now with my wife. And good.
No, well done, mate. So you started at 11 with Mkati. So obviously there was a lot of parental support. Tell us about that journey.
Oh, so I quit school when I was 16 years old, because the arts had taken over my life. Drumming was the only thing that I could understand. Drumming was the only thing that I knew I was good at. So I needed to, at that age, I just became an adult. I became, I became responsible, over my family, my mom, my siblings, and everything else. And somehow the arts started paying me when I was still very young, and that was the job that I only knew. That was the thing that I loved. So at 16, I said to my mom, I wasn't doing bad at school at all, but seeing how things were changing so fast in Zimbabwe in terms of the economy and everything else, I just thought, let me try this thing and just follow my dreams. So at 16, I negotiated with my mom, and she supported my decision. And from then, I've just been in the arts, and traveling. So I started traveling when I was 16 years old with Umkati, going to Botswana, South Africa, Zambia, and then at 18 I started touring the UK and everything else. So it's been an amazing journey. We have seen myself from growing from strength to strength, and learning more and collaborating with other musicians, from outside Africa, from outside Zimbabwe, and talking about West Africa, South Africa, and artists here in the UK. So yeah, it's been a long and fruitful journey in a sense, yeah.
So growing up in the arts and being in the spotlight, as it were, how was your childhood? How did you handle being all out there performing? You're barely a child and being thrust into that role of being a public persona. How did you handle
that? I guess I've been around people that had been in the arts for a long time, and having them on my side. I'm talking about Mateus Dube, who is Umkati Theatre Works director, and John Piri, who actually supported me while I was playing drums outside my house. And they thought, oh, let's give you a chance to join the group and everything else. Being around those people and seeing how they act and live their daily lives in the arts. Remember, Umkati has always been at the top and being in the spotlight and everything else. I remember my first performance. I was 11, performing with these older guys at Bulawayo Theatre, and back then arts people used to really pay quite well for the arts. It was a full house. That was my first performance, and trust me, the first 15 minutes I just literally was shaking, and I didn't know what to do and everything else. But having all of those people around you and showing you the way, it helped me a lot. And I've never really taken this as a way of trying to be a celebrity or whatever. It's always been a job to me. It's always been something that has to pay me. It's always been something that's made me grow and and be able to fend for my family and everything else. So yeah.
So for you, from what I'm hearing so far, the arts has been your only source of livelihood. So definitely you've been able to make it as an artist. But generally speaking, would you say the arts is a reliable source of income, especially in Zimbabwe?
Ooh. Like I said before we started, I've been really lucky in being in the arts from when I started. Having joined a group that's been recognized as one of the best, and we've always at work, and you always want more, but I've seen with other groups and other artists around me, it's really difficult. It's really difficult, and one needs to diversify their sort of means of getting income and being able to survive. So the economy in Zimbabwe has always been going down. That's one factor. Can you survive from just doing the arts on its own? It's impossible. It's very impossible. I mean, like I said to you, I started traveling when I was 16, and every time I got back home, I made sure outside outside being in a group. So for me, I've always been in different places and earning from other collaborations that I've done. Um, but yeah, to answer the question in one sentence, no, it's impossible.
So what would you think it would take to make the arts sector in Africa, well, more specifically in Zimbabwe, in our region, viable?
There's a lot that needs to change. There's a lot that needs to change in terms of the people that are at the top, starting from our government. We need funds put into the arts. We need stakeholders to believe in the arts, because look at it right now. During the pandemic, during the lockdown, a lot of our music has been played online, um, because people have realized, and I think it is awakened a lot of people that never believed in the arts and everything else, that we need this. I've seen amazing talent, show up during the pandemic. So that needs to be followed up after the pandemic. We need to start believing in events like Africa Day in Juve, which is an event that I do. We need people to sponsor us. We need to do Credisi, like IAS had been doing. We need to support all of the arts industry needs a lot of money. So that's one big thing that needs to change, because when I compare it to how it's like over here in Zimbabwe, I mean, it's still the same. There's a lot of artists that struggle, but the government and other, NGOs and everything else come into play and support the arts, because we need the arts. We need music in our day-to-day lives. So that's one big thing that I would say. Sponsorship. We need more money.
So talking about the COVID pandemic and the lockdown, tell us about your experiences being an artist and having your various forms of income like events and gigs and all sorts of things having to be stopped during the lockdown. What did you do? How did you cope? How did you then diversify and reach out to your audience since you couldn't be there physically?
It's been difficult. It's been difficult for me. The first few months, I remember, having to be locked up in a house. Literally, you can't go onto the streets. As an artist, that's always survived on being on trains, buses, planes, and like literally every weekend, I'm traveling somewhere different to teach and everything else. It really knocked my confidence, and I must say, I got a bit depressed. You know, um, I got stir crazy and everything else. But as time went on, because everything was starting to go online, I started to get a few bookings from people where I would do private sessions or one-to-one, drumming sessions, and I started teaching choirs like online. But it's never the same. You need human contact. You need you need to see people close to you and hear that sound. Doing things on Zoom like this is fine because that's one-to-one, that's me and you. But because the kind of stuff that I do is teaching at least 20, 30, 40 or 100 people in one place, you can't really hear the sound. And it was difficult and different, you know. Um, so it was a difficult time, and I'm glad we are starting to get back to it because if it had gone longer, uh, thing as well is that I've been lucky in the sense that I got myself a job that's outside the arts. So I ended up finding, a different job. But previously, I couldn't have done that because I'm under a visa that doesn't allow me to do any other job. So at that time, it was really difficult in the sense that I'm not earning anything. And that kills your confidence as well. Because as a human being, we live in a world where we need money, So it's been a tough time. But as time went on, right now, I'm happy. And trust me, I'm living the life. I'm enjoying it.
Good to hear. And talking about lockdown, I know you've just narrated your experience, and I would say it's slightly different where you are. You still have a very heavy network here in Zimbabwe. How did your colleagues survive in Zimbabwe from what you've heard and all the contacts you've kept?
I didn't need anyone to say to me, it's tough. I knew it because I I travel back and forth to Zimbabwe. I'd still go back home, and I have gigs lined up the time I'm home to earn more. So now imagine somebody in Zimbabwe, a musician in Zimbabwe, locked down. Even during the time when it's not locked down, it's as difficult as I don't know. So I ran a festival called Africa Day in July, and last year I raised some funds for running the festival. So it's like a GoFundMe thing, and whatever I earned, I thought to myself, I'm not going to do a live broadcast and waste money on hiring people to come and do this. I'd rather spend this money on buying food stuff for artists. So we selected artists that had done Africa Day the year before and bought a few things for them just to support them, But that would have lasted at least a week or 2 weeks, and then thereafter, what else, So the lockdown has been really, really difficult because a lot of artists, especially in Zimbabwe, survive on live shows, you know. So yeah, it's yeah.
So, as an industry, what would you say is our takeaway from this whole lockdown and pandemic? And given that there are restrictions that are still coming up. For example, we've gone into level 2 in Zimbabwe. We've gone back to no gigs. So we're just celebrating the other week when artists were allowed to have performances with up to 50 people. And then a few days later, because of the numbers, that has been stopped again. What's our takeaway? What do we need to do? What do we need to learn from this going forward?
Oof, that's a difficult one, that. Because like I said, we don't have a government that believes in the arts. We don't have stakeholders, sponsors that believe in the arts. So for me, those are the two major things that need to change. We need support, massive support, because arts in Zimbabwe, in Africa, in the world, plays a massive role in our society. Yet we still don't believe that the Jah praisers, the Vusamkayas, the Iasas need our support and money. So my appeal will be mainly to the government to believe in the arts and make provision, whatever it is that a system that they can come up with to make sure that when we have a situation like this, whether it's an association where they can pump in some money, I don't know where from, but to make sure that the artists can at least survive during times like these. I don't know what structure can be followed or what can be done, but my appeal is that the government needs to do something.
Okay, I hear you, Bruce. So talking about artists in Bulawayo in Zimbabwe, I was having a discussion some time back, and somebody highlighted that our artists sometimes are not well equipped to play on a global stage in terms of qualification, and we survive on talent alone. What's your take on that? What's your take on the talent versus qualification, or combining the two?
That's a tricky one. For me, it's about what you produce. What do I mean about that? I found, I'll use myself as an example. I'll use Vusamkai as an example. I'll use Lucky Moyo in the UK as well. Those are artists that are doing something that's Bulawayo, that's Zimbabwe. You don't need to compare it with anyone else. It's unique, it's different. A lot of young artists get carried away with listening to a sound from Nigeria, a sound from America, and then they want to do that. You can't, do you know what I mean? Stay unique, stay true to your sound. That way, the international world can recognize you. I go to festivals like Glastonbury, go to festivals like WOMAD, and what I listen to is quarter music, and millions of people, come and watch that. Why? Because it's unique. There is Mariah Carey in America, in the Western world. They don't need a sound that's fake, that's copied. Do you know what I mean? It's there already. What are you bringing onto the international world, into the international scene? That's different about you. That's what I've found. That for me, that's what I've seen a lot of us failing. Look at Nobuntu. Do you know what I mean? Flying. Why? Because they're singing in Ndebele. They don't try and sound like anyone else. It's them. It's their sound. So I think we need to go back and revisit that. Look at Asif. He's doing the right thing, but it's his style. That's why he's going all over. That's why he's blowing up. So we need to stay true to our sound and our unique selves.
Awesome. So in terms of the aspect of qualification, for example, an example was given of somebody from Zimbabwe then having to go play maybe in Australia, and the aspect of not having the necessary qualifications maybe to be able to read a score and things like that. Are we taking our craft seriously enough as artists in Zimbabwe, in your opinion?
No, we're not. We think just performing is enough. You know, there's so much more that happens in music, and I myself have been ignoring a lot of things because I'm like, this is my talent, I know it, I'm going to be booked and everything else. But there's a lot more that goes underneath in the background. You know what I mean? We need to equip ourselves in terms of. I can't read music even still now, you know, and that's based on how the music has been taught to me. You know, I'm all about listening and then just sing or play to it. Do you know what I mean? I watch Bruce Ncube all the time when he shares about you know the music techniques and everything else. And for me, that's where it's been missing as well. So yes, it blocks a lot when we then go on to the, like you said, you go to Australia or America, and then they ask you about certain things, the technical aspects of music and everything else, and you're like, you're stuck. So we need to do more. We're not doing much. I was watching the girls or Sizwakele and everything else when they were recently learning about producing music and and mastering and everything else. That's the kind of things that we need to focus on more, because it's not just about singing, it's not just about performing,
Totally hear you. So you are very heavily involved still in Bulawayo, besides your Africa Day in Jube and various other initiatives. What's the future for you, Arts Bulawayo, generally as the brand?
I just want to do more. I just want to do more, and I believe we have the talent. I believe we have the means to grow. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of people that are blocking things for younger people. You know, if I wasn't brave enough, I would have been sucked up by a lot of people. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to do the Africa Day because they don't tell you straight away. You know, there's always indirectly there's things that bring a lot of musicians and event organizers in Bulawayo, because there is control and everything else. So I wish we could embrace the fact that we grow old and ideas run out, and then we need new people to take things forward. You know, um, I'm gonna retire someday soon, and I'm gonna retire from music. I know that it's coming, because I know my energies can't be as the same as 20 years ago. I do I do get old as well. I've always been, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Right now, I'm doing this podcast with other musicians and everything else, finding out about their lives and what they're doing and everything else. The next thing, I'm probably going to run a festival. Do you know what I mean? I'm keeping on going. I wish we could do that. So I want to do more. To answer your question, there's a lot more that I'm going to do. What it is exactly at the moment, I don't know, but I'm going to do more.
So, Bruce, you're saying there are gatekeepers in the industry, but somehow you have survived. You have to break out of that, and it's a difficult journey. Is that what I'm getting from what you've just said?
Yes, yeah, completely. There is gatekeepers, and to run away from that fact, um, because if you look at it, most of the big things that have happened in the city, they've been given to the same people. Do you mean to tell me that there's no good choreographers in Bulawayo? Young. I can tell you right now, Gomez is one of the best. You know, I can tell you right now, Umbongin is one of the best. Why don't we try those younger people and give them the opportunity? Otherwise, we're running a risk of, you know, keeping on saying, oh, ZANU-PF is doing this. Yet we are doing the same style in the music industry. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry. This is probably going to upset a lot of people, but we need to change that kind of mentality, because then it keeps on. We're keeping on being sihlala siku-one ndawo, asiyi phambili. I understand. So like I said, ngabantu abangabuyi direct as gatekeepers, but they are there. It will take a bit of time for young people to recognize that, and I've known it, I've recognized it, and I don't involve them in my things. I just do my things on my own.
On the flip side, though, are these young upcoming people willing to work with the old guard? Because sometimes, you know, when somebody has a track record and you have a really big event and they've proved very reliable, that's why you might have them as a go-to resource. And therefore, it becomes easier to work with somebody rather than an unknown. Are the supposed unknowns willing to work with the old guard in order to then build up their own platform or foundation, latch onto them, as it were, so that they learn and get their way in the field and then fly from there? What's your take?
Yeah, there is that kind of you know, a relationship between the old guard and the younger generation. But for me, it's about what happens next. It's not just about one event and then it's gone. What are we doing to follow up on what Bruce has taught Gomez? Do you know what I mean? Because I'm the one that people are still going to go like, oh, there's Bruce there, let's ring up him. Do you know what I mean? Am I going to involve him in more things that are going to, you know, keep him going and learning more? Or it's just a sin with our industry. It's only when, you know, there's one thing and then boom, right, I'm going to involve so and so, and then what next? You know, so it's about the follow up and what leads on. Yes, young people are willing to learn from the older guys, but they're being let down in the sense that there's no continuity. There's nothing to follow up on whatever it is, you know. So yeah.
Interesting. I was just wondering also, you know, the whole arts debate we've been involved in for decades and decades. Maybe is the arts cake so small that people feel the need to preserve any single corner or in their turf so much that they find it difficult to open up maybe to other people involved with the players, because I mean their share goes even smaller.
Sorry, say that again. You broke up a bit, and so.
Okay, so in City, maybe our arts, the sector, like the arts funding cake, as it were, is so small that people feel the need to aggressively protect whatever slice that they get so as to be able to live and survive. Do you think that's a contributing factor as well? Because if we're saying we don't have enough support, so the minute somebody throws $10 at it and you get a slice of $3, you fight as much as you can because you don't know when the next input is going to come or whether it's going to come at all. Do you think that the economy plays
yeah
in that?
Yeah, that does play a big role, because, you know, like even myself, I wouldn't just open up, you know, and give people what, you know, that little that I've got. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, there is other ways of sharing the experience and the knowledge, because at the end of the day, it's more than just money. You know, let's face it, we die. Let's face it, we one day you'll be maybe injured or something, and then if you didn't share that knowledge, that means we're stuck. we're starting all over again. Do you know what I mean? So, in as much as we need money, there's also the sharing of the knowledge and the skills and everything else, which we need, especially in the arts. I mean, a lot of us go into the arts for the love of it. You know, when I started doing it, well, it was my job. It is still my job, but I love the arts, and I've done so many gigs and stuff that where I haven't been paid, you know, because I just want to be there. Do you know what I mean? So the cake, yes, it's small, but we you know, we can do something.
Bruce, Ngachona has talked the whole day, but would you have any last words for our viewers before we sum it up?
Yeah, what I would like to say is that we need to support the arts. I hope the pandemic has proven that, you know, um, we need music, we need live shows, because right now I was on Twitter this morning and asking people, well, we were talking about the lockdown and that Sibuya foot, whatever phase it is. A lot of people going like, yeah, we were hoping to be going for live shows and everything else. Let's hope that stays in people's minds, which once we don't have the arts, you know, nothing is really good in a way. And, you know, so yeah, let's support the arts, let's support our musicians and pay for gigs.
Bruce, thank you so much for being a part of the show. I appreciate your views, and I'm sure there will be lots of engagement on the platform regarding your views. We wish you all the best.
All right, so we'll talk soon. Yeah.
Alrighty. So that was Bruce Ncube, and he was just chatting with me about the arts and how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the arts sector. Unfortunately, that's all we have on the Breakfast Club today. Thank you for watching Asake Online. My name is Sizwakele Ndlovu, and please remember to mask up, sanitize your hands and wash them regularly, and maintain your social distance. Thanks for watching Asake. Bye for now.